Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Blast from the Past. Or rather, the conclusion to the previous Blast from the Past. The eagle-eyed among you may have noticed at the end of last week's video, I said that next time we'd be taking a look at Hamilton Comics Mighty Morphin issue number 6, while the graphic said issue 5.5. Find out what the heck I'm talking about in my review of Hamilton Comics MMPR issue number 6, Stranger in a Strange Town. I was so excited about getting that video shorter that I failed to realize until editing that the reason it was shorter is that the story was only 15 pages long. Combining that with the fact that the next story didn't have a cover page, I really should have realized what was going on sooner. That issue had 2 pages in it. And since in writing the script I look ahead to the next story to see what it's about, I really should have realized that. So for this video, I'll be covering just the second story in that issue, but from now on, whenever there are 2 stories in one issue, I'll make sure to cover both of them. With that established, do not attempt to adjust the horizontal or the vertical. I am in control of the video. So let me take you to the outer limits of Ranger storytelling with a look at the other half of Hamilton Comics, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue number 5, Stranger in a Strange Town. Please make sure you're subscribed to my channel to see all of my videos. Ring the bell, get your notifications set up so you're notified whenever I post brand new videos, such as these Blast from the Past ones. And if you're interested in lending any financial support to my channel, make sure to check me out on Patreon or Ko-fi at Orange Ranger Videos. Oh, and one last little bit of record keeping. I realized during my review of Go-Go Power Rangers issue number 31 that I never actually showed you folks that I have the physical copy of the comic. Here it is. Onward! We've already looked at the cover, let's get straight to the story. We start with the Rangers getting ready to skydive. I was gonna make a joke here, but seriously, the Rangers, including the Stone Canyon Trio, getting ready to skydive. So I checked. This issue came out March 30th, 1995. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie, which you might remember begins with a skydiving scene, came out exactly 3 months later, June 30th, 1995. So yes, the comic was first, but the movie had to be deep into production at that point, so I'd imagine the skydiving scene had long since been filmed. It is worth remembering that Cheryl Saban is a creative consultant here. Maybe she saw that scene and brought the idea back to the comic book writers.
Get on with it!
Yeah, MPG, I know. So yeah, the Rangers are skydiving, Aisha jumping last. The Rangers even plan to link up like they do in the movie, but suddenly a gust of dark wind blows and Aisha whooshes away. She thinks to herself that the wind is zapping all of her strength and she can't even manage to morph. The wind dissipates and she manages to pull her cord, parachuting to the ground below, landing right in the middle of Angel Grove itself. However, nobody seems to even notice. She goes to ask an older couple for some help, but they don't even seem to see her, ignoring her. So this is something I feel the need to mention due to both the context of the story and the national climate in which it's currently presented. The story focuses on Aisha, a black girl, and she was just ignored by an older white couple. Now clearly that is not the context of this story. Trust me, it's a lot stranger than that. But it is ironic that this story comes up for review now considering the current national climate, where many black people do feel unseen and unheard, if not even worse. I don't feel like my videos are the place for me to make direct political statements, at least not outright ones. You can check out my Twitter for my more direct thoughts on the current goings-on, but I feel like if you've seen more than a few of my videos, you probably already know how I feel. I just wanted to take a moment to point out that this story was not chosen intentionally, it was just next on the list, and I do recognize the somewhat ironic context that it presents. Aisha decides to go home. Obviously, she'll be recognized there. She rings the doorbell, but the door is answered by herself. The Aisha at the door can't see anyone, thinking it's pranking kids interrupting her book report. Skydiving Aisha. Skyisha? At first thinks the dark wind brought her back in time, but realizes she planned to start the book report after the skydiving trip, so it must be the future instead. Suddenly, an angry mob, that thankfully does include at least 2 black people, now see her, angry that she is pretending to be Aisha. The crowd chases her out of town, and even the town itself starts morphing into an older-looking version. She gets hit by a rock, proving this isn't a dream since that hurt, and then she runs face-to-face into Lord Zed. Except he says he's not Lord Zed, but her best friend, Rocky. He proves his identity by telling her they were at the library yesterday, and she switched her book report from Moby Dick to The Stranger by Jean-Paul Sartre. Things are going to get even weirder here, fair warning. Rocky says they can talk somewhere safe, a mansion he calls Zed's own earthly headquarters. Rocky has Alpha let them in, but Aisha doesn't know who Alpha is. Rocky says of course she knows Alpha. They're the Power Rangers. But she says neither of them are Rangers. He asks her about people in a Jeep seen in the viewing globe. It's Kim, who seems to see the camera, Billy, Adam, and Rocky. But Zed is Rocky, remember? He says Rocky is in turn Zed in disguise. Aisha says she's not buying it. Zed is Zed and has made this world just to confuse her. And he already made one key mistake that gave the game away.
Saber, no! It began with a bloody S!
You see, Rocky talked Aisha into doing The Stranger because it's one of his favorite books. And he would know that it was written by Albert Camus and not Jean-Paul Sartre. The jig up, Alpha turns into Goldar, and Zed zaps her. He hoped to confuse her so much she'd attack her own friends. But it failed. The Jeep was real, the other Rangers looking for Aisha. They find her skydiving gear and see an angry mob charging somewhere, following them. The zap from Zed encases Aisha in a power field that stops her from morphing. Zed, finally acting smart for a change, says he can just dispose of her now, and that's 1 Ranger down.
Genius!
The building starts to shake as Goldar looks really happy and says, my, I think it's an earthquake. It's the Zords busting in, including the Red Dragon Zord and its doofy teeth. Zords! Shouldn't that be Zounds? No, I suppose Zords would be more appropriate in this case.
But shut up, Wesley.
Zed calls a retreat, and Goldar uses his magic wand to teleport them away. Aisha drops from the power field, and Adam catches her. He asks her what's going on, and she says it's a long story. Actually, Aisha, it wasn't. As the B story in this issue, this was just a scant 9 pages. B stories are always a good place to experiment with things a little bit, and this did remind me of some weird experimental episodes of the TV show, such as It Came from Angel Grove. The thing is, I don't think it got weird enough. I kind of wish that this had been the A story, so it had some more pages to flesh the story out and get really weird. Just as soon as things started to get pretty strange, the story just ends. Not good, not great. Stranger in a Strange Town gets a 3 out of 5. Next time, it really is issue number 6, and I was ready for the doubleheader this time. See the Rangers fight a giant nuclear-powered space robot, and then deal with Zed's most fiendish scheme of all, a shopping mall. In my review of Hamilton Comics' Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue number 6, Attack of the Gargantutron, and Shop Till You Drop, Dead. That is going to wrap up another Blast from the Past video. Thank you, heroes, so much as always for watching. And once again, sorry about the little confusion in the format of this issue. Thanks for your patience as I got both issues out. Now that the video's done, you can head down to the comments below and let me know what you thought of this issue as well as my review of it. And while you're down there, make sure you smack that thumbs up button and let me know if you enjoyed this video. Folks, unless you absolutely feel the need to leave the house, whatever motivations you have for that, just please try to stay inside, stay safe, make sure you're washing your hands, being careful of the virus and everything else. And until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. The eagle-eyed among you may have noticed that he says Rocky is in turn Zed in disguise. Aisha says, as the B story in this issue, this was just a scant 9 pages. Sure was.